Amid the intense Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Belgorod border region of Russia has emerged as a critical military flashpoint. A sturdy concrete bridge spanning a small but strategically vital river on the outskirts of Belgorod serves as a linchpin for Russian military logistics. This bridge is not just a conduit for transporting weapons and fuel, but a lifeline sustaining Russia's military presence along the Ukraine border. Stretching approximately 394 feet and constructed from high-strength reinforced concrete, the bridge can support heavy loads, allowing daily passage of 50-ton tanks and light armored vehicles. Yet, its strategic importance has made it a prime target for Ukrainian forces who are intent on disrupting Russia's supply lines. For months, Russian intelligence anticipated that Ukraine might attempt to seize or destroy key infrastructure along the border. To counter this, Russian military command in Belgorod ordered the installation of an anti-tank mine system beneath the bridge. Each mine, packed with 16.5 pounds of explosives, is powerful enough to obliterate any vehicle attempting to cross if triggered. Russian combat engineers meticulously placed dozens of these mines at critical points under the bridge, wiring them to a remote detonation system to ensure that any Ukrainian ground assault would come at a steep cost. For Russia, this was a passive yet effective defense, designed to thwart enemy advances while preserving the bridge's integrity. Why would Russia rig its own vital bridge with explosives? The answer lies in its critical role. The bridge is a double-edged sword, essential for Russian logistics, but a liability if captured. Russia's strategy was clear: only they could use it, or it would be destroyed. If Ukraine dared to send tanks across, Russia was prepared to obliterate them. But Ukraine had no intention of crossing the bridge. Under the command of a special forces unit within a mechanized brigade, Ukrainian forces near the border quickly recognized the bridge's importance. They understood that destroying it would severely disrupt Russian supply lines, paving the way for counteroffensives in the region. Early one August morning, as dawn broke over the border, a Ukrainian improvised reconnaissance drone launched from a covert base near the front line. Equipped with a simple but effective camera system, the drone was tasked with surveying Russian military activity around Belgorod. A young Ukrainian military engineer carefully piloted the drone at a low altitude of about 98 feet to evade Russian air defense radars. The drone's camera, though not high resolution, captured clear enough imagery under daylight to identify key ground details, providing critical intelligence on Russian movements. As the drone passed over the bridge, its camera detected unusual objects beneath. From the control station, the operator spotted circular shapes poorly concealed by camouflage netting and branches. After detailed analysis with the technical team, they identified these as TM-62M anti-tank mines, a common Russian defensive weapon. This discovery not only confirmed the bridge's fortified defenses, but also presented an unexpected opportunity. If Ukraine could remotely trigger these mines, they could destroy the bridge without expending their own explosives. An emergency meeting was convened at the Ukrainian command base. The unit's seasoned senior officer reviewed the reconnaissance team's findings and devised a daring plan. Use a low-cost, homemade FPV drone to strike the mines under the bridge, triggering them to demolish the structure during daylight hours when Russian forces were least expectant. The mission was risky. If the drone missed its target, the plan would fail, and Russian air defenses could easily spot and destroy the drone in daylight. Despite the dangers, confidence in their improvised technology and team skills led the commander to greenlight the operation. Preparations for the mission were conducted with utmost secrecy and precision. The Ukrainian technical team selected a homemade FPV drone assembled from commercial components like brushless motors, a lightweight carbon frame, and a 720p resolution camera. Weighing just 3.3 pounds, the drone had a 3.1-mile range and could carry a 1.1-pound explosive payload, enough to trigger the mines if precisely targeted. The warhead, a custom explosive equivalent to a grenade's blast, was designed to detonate on impact. Meanwhile, the reconnaissance team continued monitoring the bridge via additional drone flights, tracking Russian activity. They noted that Russian forces patrolled the bridge regularly during the day, with checkpoints stationed about 656 feet away. The Ukrainians determined that a midday attack, when harsh sunlight and high temperatures might dull Russian vigilance, would be optimal. Daylight would also aid the FPV drone operator in spotting the target, though it increased the risk of detection. To minimize exposure, the team painted the drone's exterior a pale gray to blend with the sky, and programmed a circuitous flight path to avoid heavily patrolled areas. They also deployed rudimentary jamming devices along the border to disrupt Russian radio signals within a short range, helping the drone evade detection in the final 1.2 miles to the target. A Ukrainian artillery unit, equipped with 122mm self-propelled howitzers, stood ready to provide support if Russian forces responded swiftly after the attack. On August 6th, at 11:45 a.m., under scorching 86 degrees F heat and a nearly cloudless sky, the FPV drone launched from a concealed position 2.5 miles from the Russian border. Led by an experienced military engineer, the drone control team programmed a low-altitude flight path, keeping the drone just 10 feet above the ground to avoid radar detection, while manually guiding it via FPV goggles for precision. The route curved through a sparse forest to use tree cover for concealment during the initial approach. As the drone took off, its quiet motor was masked by ambient wind and natural sounds. Moving at a steady 37 miles per hour, the FPV drone glided silently through the bright landscape. Its onboard camera streamed live footage to the operator's goggles, allowing real-time navigation. The first 1.9 miles were uneventful, with the drone crossing open fields and low shrubs undetected by Russian air defenses. Daylight aided the operator in spotting obstacles like power lines or branches, though maintaining the low altitude demanded intense focus to avoid ground patrols. At 12:05 p.m., the drone was just 1,640 feet from the Belgorod bridge. The operator slowed it to 25 miles per hour for greater accuracy, and adjusted the camera to focus on the mines under the bridge. Daylight imagery clearly showed the circular mines aligned along the bridge's main supports. The operator targeted a central mine, likely to trigger a chain reaction if struck. The FPV drone descended, approaching the bridge's underside from the south, where fewer obstacles and direct sunlight improved visibility. The operator, battling glare on the FPV goggles, made precise adjustments to the drone's trajectory, angling it at 30 degrees toward the central mine. At 16 feet, the camera showed the mine's metallic surface gleaming in the sunlight. The operator steadied the controls, ensuring the drone stayed on course within inches of the target. At 12:08 p.m., the FPV drone struck the central mine precisely, detonating its 1.1-pound payload with the force of a small grenade. The blast instantly triggered the TM62M mine, unleashing a massive explosion that echoed across the area, shaking the ground hundreds of feet away. The mine's 16.5-pound explosive charge created a fireball under the bridge, vaporizing the concrete at the point of impact. A chain reaction followed as nearby mines detonated, with dozens of explosions ripping through in under 10 seconds, obliterating the bridge's main supports. Concrete and steel fragments flew outward, forming a thick dust cloud that obscured visibility. Debris rained onto the bridge deck and river below as black smoke billowed under the harsh sunlight. Designed for heavy loads, the bridge couldn't withstand the chained blasts. Its center cracked and collapsed into the river with a thunderous crash, leaving the Belgorod bridge in ruins within a minute. The explosion threw Russian forces into disarray. Soldiers patrolling the bridge and nearby checkpoints were caught off guard by the blast's intensity. Some sustained minor injuries from flying debris, while others rushed to assess the damage. Alarms blared from checkpoints, and Russian commanders quickly deployed additional forces. The daylight attack allowed clear visibility of the destruction, but confusion reigned as some mistook it for a long-range artillery strike. At the Ukrainian control station, the drone team celebrated their success. A follow-up reconnaissance drone confirmed the bridge's total destruction, with its central span gone and only the ends left standing. Concrete and steel littered the area, and the river below was blackened by ash. No immediate repairs seemed feasible, effectively severing Russia's key supply route in Belgorod. Within 20 minutes, Russian engineers arrived to assess the wreckage, backed by reinforced patrols and activated air defenses to counter further aerial threats. Armored vehicles secured the area as commanders ordered searches for Ukrainian forces near the border. Ukraine, however, had no plans for immediate follow-up attacks. Their objective was achieved. The Belgorod bridge was gone, forcing Russia to rely on longer, more vulnerable supply routes. The destruction of the Belgorod bridge was not just a tactical victory, but a strategic blow for Ukraine. By severing this critical supply line, Russian forces faced logistical challenges in sustaining troops and moving weapons and fuel, creating opportunities for Ukrainian counteroffensives or fortified defenses without fear of rapid Russian reinforcement. The operation showcased Ukraine's ingenuity, using low-cost drones to turn Russia's own TM-62M mines against them, effectively destroying the bridge with Russia's own trap. For Russia, the incident exposed vulnerabilities in their defenses. Failing to intercept a homemade FPV drone in broad daylight highlighted limitations in countering small, low-flying targets. The Belgorod bridge attack underscored a shift in modern warfare, where even inexpensive, improvised drones can alter conflict dynamics. Ukraine's precise, high-impact strike demonstrated how smaller forces can leverage technology to disrupt the strategic objectives of a larger adversary.